Just to be sure that you are with me, can you give me a warm smile? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I even like the response. That's fantastic. Thank you. Before we start anything at all, I'd like to very sincerely apologize for the change in venue. We are deeply sorry. We should have communicated that earlier, but whatever it is, no excuses. We're deeply sorry for making you go all the way to the Congress Hall and then changing the venue to this place. However, we are in for a good time and, of course, a very insightful conversation. Now, this session has a theme: driving social change for economic growth through art, a conversation with a legend, a man who needs no introduction, Professor Bruce Onobrakpeya. Can we give him a resounding applause? He's here. We're truly honored that he is joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much, sir, for being a part of this conversation. Now, I do recognize that art is a vital component of our economy when we look at the contributions to economy, to economic landscape in terms of tourism, in terms of cultural exchange, job creation, economic growth, and so much more. So I'm really excited that we are having this conversation, and I'm also excited that we had the art competition for the NES 30, especially because it was aimed at celebrating creativity and diversity of Nigerian artists, especially the emerging ones. So we had a competition that welcomed submissions across diverse forms of media, including painting, drawing, sculpture, mixed media, and so much more. If you were at the dinner yesterday, we awarded the top three winners from the competition out of 307 entries that we received. It wasn't an easy process because you know that Nigerians are very talented, and we saw quite a lot of that in display. So we are excited about what is happening, about what our artists are doing, about how people are representing us, globally, and just showcasing their talents and contributing to our economic growth. Now, the conversation today is exciting. We do have a fantastic moderator, but just before I get on that, I'd like to make a few recognitions of persons in the room. I'd like to recognize the special advisor to Mr. President on Art, Culture, and Creative Economy, Ayomide Adiagbo. Can we give Ayomide a round of applause? Not here yet, but will join us very shortly. But in absentia, we can just do the applause. Thank you. I'd like to recognize the Director General, National Institute of Archaeology, Chalia Shagaya. Thank you very much for joining us. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. I'd like to recognize Aisha Adamu Augie, the Director General, Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to recognize the Director General of, I'll come back to that, but I'd like to recognize the Director General of National Gallery of Art, Ahmed Shodangi. Did I pronounce that well? Sodangi. All right, that's more like you. Thank you for the correction. Now I noted that and I'll never make that mistake. So it's Ahmed Sodangi. Thank you very much, DG, for joining us today. And I am your compere, Mujibade Shosoya. I'm truly excited to be here, and I'll be listening to a national treasure. I mean, a man who has continuously put Nigeria on the world map of art, not just Nigeria, and even Africa. We're truly, truly honored that he's here today. Downstairs at the lobby, we have an art exhibition area. We want you to please visit that, the spot. We want you to not just make inquiries and, view. We want you to make purchases. We want you to buy multiple pieces, because when you see those pieces, you'll truly be inspired and excited to be Nigerian. I mean, now more than ever, I see what Nigerian artists are doing, and I'm blown away. I'm like, why don't I have such talents? But it's okay. We have the money, we'll support those talents. So I'm asking everyone to please visit the art exhibition area downstairs and make purchases, multiple purchases. Buy for your friends, your neighbors, your cousins, your colleagues, everyone in your circle, everyone on your phone book. Just look at them. Who likes art on my phone book? I'm buying one for you. Oh, you were nice to me 2 days ago. I'll buy 3 for you. So please visit and just make purchases and ensure that you support this talent. And of course, you're contributing in your own way to our economic growth, which is what we are talking about today. Now, without much further ado, I will introduce our moderator, who will be upstage to receive our living legend in the room. Our moderator is, oh, by the way, this session is in partnership with the Africa Art Fund, and we're truly honored to have the president and CEO of the Africa Art Fund with us, who would also be moderating this conversation. I mean, who better to moderate the conversation if not him? It is my pleasure to introduce on stage an award-winning, self-taught visual artist, poet, philosopher, environmental activist, and Nigerian cultural ambassador. I mean, wearing so many hats today, and he also will serve as our moderator. Please make welcome Ife Sinachi Nwanyanwu. A round of applause for him. He'll be steering the conversation today with, like I said, a man who needs no introduction. I mean, there's no Nigerian who doesn't know this man. I know him. I'm truly inspired by his work. He's an icon, a legend, a printmaker, a painter, a sculptor, a living global human treasure, a professor of fine arts, a distinguished gentleman. I mean, I feel like we should just keep him somewhere and just look at him and admire him all day. But please let us make welcome our global ambassador, a man who continues to put Nigeria on the world map of art, distinguished Professor Bruce Onobrakweya. Thank you for joining the conversation today. We're truly, truly honored by your presence, and we cannot wait to draw from your wealth of knowledge, expertise, experience, and all the wisdom that you have today. I'm adding Solomon to his name because he's truly wise. So we're going to have Professor Bruce Solomon Onobrakweya. A round of applause for him, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out the time to come to this session. I'll just, first and foremost, because I mean, we all know who Baba is, but to follow protocol, I just want to do some little bit of recitation, and which I find very humbled and honored to be able to do this. You know, for me as an artist, this is my vision. You know, so to be able to do this is such an honor. Bruce Onobrakweya is a world treasure of knowledge, like my sister just said. A philosophy and an art, a master of aesthetics, creative and media diverse, from printmaking to sculpturing to painting, and an innovator and pioneer in the forging of a modern African aesthetics. Bruce forged numerous transformative movements over the course of the past 7 decades. Along the way, he has wedded his own personal artistic exploration to his commitment to education and elevation of the next generation of artists, giving back particularly through teaching and with the Bruce Onobrakweya Foundation and the Hamatan Workshop Series. This under his tutelage and inspiration, several generations of artists have been manifest not just in Africa, but across the world, displayed at magnificent galleries and museums across the planet, from the Smithsonian in Washington to the Tate in London, and of course, in several major installations across Nigeria. Onobrakweya has been breaking down doors for African artists and exploring radical transformative combinations of the art, drawing upon influences from across the world to push what he referred to as a continuous reimagination of art that the African continent is blessed with, given its unique heritage and story in modern era. Bruce's movement has cycled through mysticism, exploration of traditional and indigenous spiritualities, Christianities, historical forms, and figures responsiveness to environmental and social challenges and issues, and numerous exploratory installations. To speak about this denizen of Zaria School, whose work has inspired PhD dissertations and numerous books by scholars the world over, will require an endless amount of time. But throughout the little we know, we are blessed and thankful to learn from this deep sage of art. So, Prof, I will allow you to to make some comments, if you want to read, before we have a conversation, and then I open up to the public, to the audience to ask a few questions. You can sit down, sir.
Well, let me just stay here a bit.
All right.
The first part, I'll read. I should hold it. The DG Abed Shudaya Sudengi. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. I will hold it. Let me hold it. I want to be alone. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Ifeanachi, I want to thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. I'm really very, very pleased that you brought this out, and I think that I have a feeling that half my work is already done through what you've said. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Eminent ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this talk. It's really not a lecture. It's not a lecture. It's a conversation, and so nothing is put in a particular order. For me, it will be a kind of ramble. We'll go backward and forward, but the most important part of this discussion will be when I have made these few statements, and then I sit down and he takes me on a few questions. But I want to begin by commending the patriotism and joint initiative of the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and Nigeria Economic Summit Group, NESG, the conveners of this conference. Especially at this challenging time in our country's development trajectory, it's a good example of vaunted public sector collaboration, which development experts advocate for building a vibrant, sustainable economy. It is pertinent to say that this is the perfect time for all stakeholders in our polity to discuss the way forward for our fledgling economy. The theme of this summit captures its essence, namely collaborative action for good competitiveness and sustainability. May I also use this opportunity to formally appreciate African Art Fund for the honor given to me to add my voice to what is perhaps one of the most significant issues of our time, that is, how to grow the Nigerian economy and social environment for the benefit of the citizenry. As one of many panelists, because this thing has been going on and people have been talking about it, in this discussion, and because of time, I'm restricted to just 20 minutes. Maybe it will be less, or maybe it will be a little more. But just we'll talk. Just talk about it. Nigeria is currently challenged with a slowdown in economic growth and development. The country needs solution, and that can provide a viable solution. As contribution and recommendations. 1, diversity. We call for diversification of the economy by letting art contribute to the economy. Diversification. Nigeria's economic diversification goal will be met if government invests and develop art as a huge revenue yielding sector. Example, France, Italy, US, where art is booming, a booming business with established public and private museums, galleries, auctioneers, and institutions. Our Minister of Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, projects that the creative sector can contribute 100 billion, that is 15 trillion naira at current exchange rate to our economy by 2020. This proves art's potential as an economic booster. Two, art pays. Good artists attract good money worldwide. Example, and one who's painting, Tutu, fetched several thousand pounds in the UK auction. If by today or tomorrow, Onabolu's artworks come out in the public for sale, those works will equally fetch this amount of money. Today, the local art market is growing. Nigerian airlines are getting more sophisticated and aware of the value of art as leisure as well as investment asset class. The potential is unlimited. More and more art galleries are growing. Lagos, Benin, Ibadan, Abuja, Enugu, Kaduna. That shows that the art is really very important, very, very important. Organizing all that and putting them in the proper place will certainly help our economy. Talking about putting them in the proper place, the artists really should not be left alone. The government, corporations, people should help to manage the artists. I was discussing recently with a Nigerian who stays in Johannesburg and was talking about artists there in South Africa. They are protected by the government. They are protected where they stay, the artwork they create, even their sketchbooks are not just things that are found here and there. They are collected and they are prized. So that is art. That is art. That is how serious it is to develop the art. The government to really take ownership of the artists and help them grow, manage what they are doing. If an artist has to pack from one place to the other, his sketchbooks and letters and all these things are put together because they are all worth a lot of money. Encouragement of more public-private partnership like the FG, NSEG Africa Art Fund collaboration for the 30th Nigerian Economic Summit. This will increase awareness of value of art in the economy. The more art that is discussed in the public forum, the more its benefit to society are made known. Nurture the artists with grants and sponsorship. The artists create the artworks. But as I said earlier, they have to be managed. They have to be managed. They are to be provided with materials to work. They are to be provided with good environment. We need to care for their health. In recent years, even this year, we're losing artists because there is really nothing put in place to help them. They just work, they use materials. Some of these materials are very poisonous. They work in an suitable environment, and they don't even know how to keep the money that they earn. And so when anything like illness strikes, they don't have any answer to it. So this is where the endowment from the government, economic, our social policy, we ask that the social policy here should be put in place so that the artists can have a way, can have some money to manage themselves and carry on their work very well, live to a very ripe old age, and then pass their learning to the younger people who are coming up. The artists need that type of encouragement for them to produce the golden egg that will bring much money to the country. We should promote activities for the economy to grow. We should promote activities such as festivals and carnivals. This creates jobs for artists and boosts economic activity. When we talk about festivals, there are so many of them in the country. Oshu Festival in Oshobo, the Kwahe, the Calabar Festival, Calabar Yearly Festival. In my place in Abgarota, we have the Ikele Festival, which comes once in every 15 years and so on. These are all very well managed sources of income for the country. Income in the sense that visitors will come in, they become tourist boosting, they boost tourism and so on, and bring a lot of money to the country. When we talk about the tourism and people coming into the country, we should again think among ourselves about security. The security is very, very important. People will only go to places where they think they will be safe. Security for man and property is very, very important. So when we think of these festivals and people traveling to rural areas and so on, we must also think about security. I want to talk about the wanting destruction of traditional artworks. As soon as a work is a traditional one, it then bears the name fetish, and that spells destruction. Many beautiful artworks have been in places have been taken by the people and destroyed. We are reducing the attraction which we enjoy and which bring tourism to the country. So I think we should try as much as possible to preserve these images, whether you call them fetish because of the religions you practice, or you think that they are ugly, and please let them remain where they are. I also, with this, I advocate that every village should have its own museum. These artworks like this should be put in a place. People will pay money, they will travel to those villages to see those works, no matter what their conditions are. So please stop calling the dog a bad name. Now, there's something about the benefit from the art that is not quantifiable. You don't quantify it because it doesn't bring money immediately. Art creates image outside the country. And that image creates friendship. That friendship brings business. And so, that is a kind of income that we cannot easily quantify, but it's there. It's there. The artists use their art to repair images, to build friendship for the country. I was in Zimbabwe sometimes, and I had to give a workshop. The people there don't like Nigeria. But throughout the workshop, I was able to talk nicely to the participants and to see our artwork and so on. By the time the 2 weeks ended, they fell in love with Nigeria. And that is something that has been gained for us. Art brings that. That friendship can bring in other good things that we cannot just mention here. The other day, I had an exhibition in Atlanta, the Mask and the Cross. The result was that at the end of it, I was granted the honorary citizen of Atlanta and also of the state Georgia. So in itself, that I won that, but it bears the name of Nigeria. It's a kind of reward or an economic value that is not easily that you can't quantify it, because it brings such friendship and goodwill. After that show, we continue to have our workshops, and people from Atlanta not only come, but they sponsor people from Nigeria to attend the workshop to learn. So that is an unquantifiable. We cannot quantify the goodwill that art brings to Nigeria. So our art brings a lot of goodwill. Now we should talk about just before I hand over. We should talk about informal art workshops. The work of Nike 77 in Lagos, Osogbo, and Kogi State are very, very remarkable. They bring a lot of, they train people, the work the people trained produce art. She herself produced art, and these art are sold in Nigeria and exported abroad, and that is a source of great income. Now, from me, inspired by the Osogbo art, I set up the Hamatan workshop in Agbaruto, And that Agbaroto, first and foremost, is a unifying factor to Nigerians, because many times in the year, people from east, north, west, and south come to that workshop. And when we are there, you don't, in fact, recognize whether you are Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa. Everybody is a brother or sister there. And so that art is a unifying factor for Nigeria. So the informal art sector is something that we should recognize as helping to develop not only the art, but the rural areas where they are set up. Because the workshop is there, it makes it possible for people to study the needs of the area and address it. Like I have used the workshop at Agbaroto to create a series of work called the Totems of the Delta, which address environmental pollution and so on and so forth. So these workshops in the rural places create jobs, create awareness for the people, and prevent rush to the towns. This art created in the rural areas make it possible for people to remain there, work there, and the urge to go to the town is very much reduced. So we're pleading that wherever this workshops are cited, the government should kindly assist, look at them and assist the people. The workshop will help tourism, at the same time train artists, and then bring understanding and stem rural emigration and so on and so forth. Now, just to hand over the microphone to the moderator, I want to say that art is something that helps a modern township to grow. Ambode in Lagos State had used the art to improve the quality of Lagos. In improving the quality, we have property value went up, and the visitors even coming from neighboring countries and even from abroad to see what we have there. These are some of the things that I think I should talk of here now, but there are many other things, and when the question and answer time comes, I will be able to focus on them. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Prof. Right, let's delve into it, Prof. Let's start from the very beginning. And the beginning is, how did you start your artistic journey? If you could oblige us to tell us how you started your artistic journey, what was the formative years like for you?
Thank you. I come from culturally rich part of the country. I'm a Robo by birth, and I schooled in Benin. Robo is connected with Benin. Our people emigrated from Benin to Roboland. Not everybody from Roboland emigrated from Benin. Some came from Ijo and so on. But the artistic nature of the Robos and the Benin people affected me. My father did art in the leisure time. As a farmer, he did art on native Sundays, and I was able to watch that while growing up. But I went to school, and in Benin, during the Benin environment, I also went to school in Sapele and Ugeli. The art in those places started showing up little by little in me. Even as someone in elementary, but during the secondary school time, the principal and the manager noticed my interest and employed me as an art teacher even before I got qualified as an artist. So that began my career as an artist, because the school saw something in me and encouraged it by the employment. That time I realized that, well, perhaps I can now make art a career, and that was how I started. I left Benin and went to Ondo Boys School, where the reverend gentleman who was the principal also saw this talent and applied on my behalf to the then Nigerian College of Art, Science and Technology for me to become one of the 1957 students. And that was how I started. But going to Ghana was like going to meet people who are in the same position. They were Simon, we came together to develop what we have read, theory. And using Lord, which then going to ourselves, going to our heart, giving them the best, and mixing the best with the best. But art, so art is in the blood. But I was fortunate now to enter a good school, secondary school. They discovered my talent, nursed it. That's the nursing I was talking about. They nursed it, and that, in fact, should be the thing that has taken me to this point.
Excuse me. Prof, it's interesting to hear you talk because, having to have this conversation with you, career spanning over 7 is like I have millions of questions to ask. And the more you talk, the more I'm like, which one will I bounce back from? But let's start from, you mentioned 1957.
Yes.
And from 1957 to date,
Yes.
you have From My Own, you are here, but if I'm wrong, you correct me, but you have transitioned through 8 periods, starting from the mythical period in 1957 to the installation period from 1995 to date. I would like to have, gone further on each of the periods. Because from 1957 to 62, you were in the mythical realism period. 67 to 78, you were in the mask and the cross period. And 78 to 84, you were in the symbols of ancestral groups, which talked when you were talking a few minutes ago. And then you have the Sahelian masquerade, which is also very interesting because it also talks about the environment and what you also mentioned a few minutes ago. The mask series, the social unrest, and the installation period to today. And in each of these periods, you've created masterpieces that kind of signifies that period, that season that we're talking about. In which of these seasons can you really say that you have enjoyed the most? Because each of these seasons also gave you opportunity to work with different media. In some seasons you were working on painting, in some other seasons you were working on installations as well. So I just want to know, like, in transitioning through all these periods, which of them could you really say impacted you mostly?
I don't know. I don't know which one impacted me. But you see, what happens is as you work, as I work, I am excited by an idea, a new idea, and like a child, I play with it until I'm tired. Until I'm fed up, I just leave it there and then run away to do something else. So that is it. But what is significant is that while on one artwork, an idea comes for the next one. So if you look at my work, there is something like a string that will go through and touch all of them. There's something, it's a continuity. They're not segmented at all. But the thing there that I talk to my people, students and so on, is that you can begin to continue, you can begin to work, just continue to work. Before you exhaust one idea or one period, another period will emerge, and that will down lead you to another period. And what is most important to understand is the fact that to be an artist of repute, you have to continue to be a contemporary. Because you can take a technique today, say the totems of the Delta or the Sahelian masquerades. You take it today, they're all environmental, and you exhaust them. People like them, and you're very happy, you are finished. So what? So you're finished, because that's all you are. But really, to be an artist, you have to remain contemporary. Being contemporary means that the problem of a particular time, or the inspiration for a particular time, or what is going on, what is in vogue, what is challenging, and so on, you treat it. You treat it, and then as you live on, something else comes on, and you follow it up too. Like for instance, there was something on the Civil War that finished. Nigeria went through the Civil War. Then you have the first Act of 77 that created a kind of something that will push you on. And then the regime of Babangida, which brought in some kind of, where did our devaluation from Naira, from devaluation started? Because up to that time, the dollar, the Naira was bigger, was more valuable than the dollar, one of it. And then gradually, the Naira started to, the dollar started to go up and Naira started to go down and so on. So you take that period. Then the other period, another period comes in, and so on and so forth. So to be a contemporary artist, you have to change with the time and let new ideas come. Like in the big thing I wrote, people are afraid of the digital. No, not digital. They are afraid of AI. That's artificial intelligence. They are afraid of it. But I said, well, you are not going to be able to run away from artificial intelligence. So what people should do, particularly the artists, find a way to use that artificial intelligence. It becomes a kind of period that a person goes through as an artist. Now we had the digital period. Now we have the internet period. I mean, there's something they call Gen Z. I don't know. No, these are a group of people. What they can do, I cannot do it. I have to hire some younger people to help me look at my phone and so on. So that's their own generation. So other generations keep coming and going, and new art forms come with it. So that is what keeps you going. You stop being an artist. You stop being an artist if you end with one period. You have to grow from one thing to the other, then you become contemporary. So today there are not very many contemporary artists, Nigerian contemporary artists, because they stopped growing.
Okay, thank you. That also brings me back to this question about being contemporary and rebirth, reinvention. Because in most of your works,
yes,
they always have this traditional, cultural motifs, decorative art from EPBA, if I pronounce it very well. Sorry.
yeah.
So I want to understand if you are being contemporary and like going through that process, that season.
Yes.
That you are in. Does that explain why you have this rebirth of your cultural ancestry into your work, infusing them into your work?
You mentioned me going into contemporary, but with EBMA,
Yes.
right? The EBMA has several. It has many sources. Now, we have Ubi, which is equivalent to the Igbo Uli.
Right.
And then also, that Uli, that Ubi, is equivalent to the Benin Igbo mark on the body. And then the Hausa, Lari, henna or what? Yeah, that and then henna and also engraving. What is it? That tattoo. Then that is on the Nigerian part. You then have Isimidi, also Nigerian Isimidi, and what other writing form do we have? And so that is on the one hand, and then you have the Japanese, Chinese writing, you have the Arabic that. Now, the EBMA draws inspiration from all this. So, and then some of the other things I do draw inspiration from the traditional as well as from outside. So, it's just fulfilling this dictum about synthesis, drawing something from the past, the present, and from outside, putting them together to create something that is new.
Yes, Prof, you said synthesis before, but just to have the full sentence, it's natural synthesis. I will allow you to actually explain more on that.
Well, now, let me say that Uche Okeke, who was the president of the Zaria Art Society, was a philosopher even before he came to Zaria. And so all this synthesis state and all this, those were his English and so on. And sometimes we just go on working and getting new ideas, but they call it synthesis and so on. But what I take as synthesis is really going back to our past, taking what is really very nice, bringing it out, using it for the present time, and also taking what is very good and nice from outside, mixing it with my work to produce something that is new. That is my form of synthesis. And all the Zaria people, they had different ways that they use and interpret the synthesis theory.
I could just have maybe two more questions for you, and then I allow the audience, because I'm sure that a lot of people have different questions for you.
Okay.
And going back to the theme of art as the driving force for economic growth,
Yes.
you did mention when you were saying that because of the benefits of art,
Yes.
it's hard to quantify. Could you say that's one of the reasons? Because here in Nigeria, we have a very deep gap between appreciating art and people understanding it as, very critical part of development. Would you say that art not being immediately, like if I buy fuel now or gas, I don't trade on credit. I give you give me cash, and everybody. I mean, we'll do the transaction. It's gone. I know that I have money in my account. But
Yes.
art, like you said already, sometimes it takes a longer period to develop. Would you say that's one of the reasons in our environment that has really hindered the appreciation of art as what it's supposed to be?
Well, I know that there are several reasons why the appreciation of art has not gone round, particularly with the people from the rural areas and our people who have religious inclinations. The colonial government did a very, very good job for themselves. And in order to, in order really to get the people to work for them, to do what they wanted to, it was necessary to kill a rival philosophy. And that rival philosophy is the traditional art which expressed the idea of traditional beliefs, traditional religion, traditional philosophy. That was it. So really, the thing is that the people, the art, the appreciation was destroyed by the colonial influence, and that is what we try to build now. We try to build it, but it's very, very slow. That the culture is very, very slow to build something in a culture. We try to build it by going to the villages, going to the schools to teach, talking to the people, using art as a material, as something that, as a material, as an idea and being an artist, try to live a good life, and when the money begin to come and begin to be independent, use that art very well, and use that art also to repair your environment and so on. These are the things that we are doing to make sure that the value that we gave to art in the past is now will eventually return to the people and give us a new way of life, which will pay respect to our dignity and do a lot of things for us and make us really, really part of the group. If you want to be global village, and you have got to then, well, the world is done. Like a big God, so we need to fight.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. I'm just going to take a few questions from the audience. Please, I ask if we can keep it very slow so that we can take as many before we time out. Yeah, colorful suit.
Okay, I'll say. Ingwasa. My name is Oganirume Ogane. I'm the chairman of Ecosystem Africa. My question goes like this, sir. How can do you think that if we engage various arts departments, if we begin to promote the conversation of contemporary art exhibitions in our tertiary institutions in collaboration with the private sector, we can drive appreciation and value for artwork? And secondly, while you were giving your presentation, you talked about tourism being a very important component for promoting an appreciation for artwork. So the Plateau State government is putting up an international Christmas festival this year from on the 21st to 27th, and art is a very key component because of the history, landscape, and potential of what the Plateau is as regards tourism and its potential. Is it possible to have you, who is like a pioneer and a great custodian of the values of art, be one of those people to help champion the direction of where art should go and how we should present our art history to the world for value this December? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I will take the second one first. You have to repeat the first one again. The second one is I'm prepared to go anywhere. I'm prepared to be part of anything that will promote the art. I've got. I've touched some deep places in the world just to promote art. Gone to Helsinki, gone to Canada, North, and so on. And, so I will do that. But I have to be given notice, and also you should recognize that age is on my side. Age. So if you are planning something, make it possible for me to be able to travel and to go to these places and work. I'm prepared to do that. But the first question is collaboration with tertiary institutions. Yes? Yes. Why not? With the private sector. Yes, why not? Why not? We're doing it all the time. We're doing it all the time. Collaboration, not even just with the tertiary institution, with secondary schools, with elementary schools. We have the Amateur Workshop in Agbaruto is a good example. We have their elementary schools come in, university people come in, and even market women, they all coming to do things there. They all come in. The people who have no chance at all to attend school, they all come and they are accommodated. I give them time and so what you have said now, I can do it, but you have to help me to do it.
Next question, Prosper.
Good evening. Let me copy the young man there. Migwosa.
My guy.
Oh my God. That's our father from Delta. My name is Prince Prosper Akeni. I hail from Delta State as well, like Baba. I am the National Secretary, Society of Nigerian Artists. I want to quickly thank the organizers of this event and for making it possible to bring this colossus to Abuja. The man the Society of Nigerian Artists recognized as the Lord of the Arts. Is one and only in the whole of Africa. Today, we call him Lord Artist Bruce Unobrakweya. That is his name. That's how we recognize him. He has done too well for the arts.
Thank you.
Comrade Iwayan, thank you very much for bringing him. I want to say this. Baba, you mentioned what good the government can do for the arts. I happen to be a stakeholder, and I believe that these days when you run alone as an artist, as a practicing artist, you run faster. When you tend to run with government, I'm very sorry, you are going nowhere. The government of today does not really understand what art is all about. I would dare to ask you, sir, when you were growing up as an artist, if you were actually given that kind of support by government that makes you feel that we should properly collaborate with the government so that arts can move forward. The practice of art is revered all over the whole world. Government play their role quite all right, but if you want to grow as an artist, I believe you really have to do your work. Do your work, and everybody will be happy to share your joy with you. Now, I remember in those days when we were growing up, when we go to international airports like Mohammed International Airport, you will see beautiful works of Baba Bruce, beautiful works of Benewon, woodworks, massive works. And they said then there was what we call cultural policy. But today, I think, Baba, I'm sorry to tell you that that cultural policy is dead. Nobody recognizes the value of art in Nigeria. That's why we've not been able to get a befitting National Gallery of Art, an edifice that you can call National Gallery of Art. And here we are, we see billions budgeted for offices. You have billions for NSITF, billions for headquarters of NNPC, billions for this, billions for that, NSA office, billions for National Gallery, billions for this and billions. Nothing is happening. Not sorry, National Assembly, but nothing is happening. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, please. I'm talking of National Assembly. Sorry, that was a mistake. But here we are. Nothing is going for the arts. The government does not recognize what art is. So I dare to ask you, if there's something you know about fraternizing with the government that we have not done and we need to do, maybe you need to really expatiate on that. so that we can know how to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I must say that the government is an example to me. The example the government has done me as an artist. I went to Zaria as a student, and there in Zaria, the government gave me scholarship, gave Uchokeke scholarship, gave Dibaswoko scholarship, gave Grillo scholarship, and there in Zaria, we were treated like gentlemen and ladies. What they were doing was to prepare us to play our role in the governance of Nigeria. Governance quote. That was it. So the government, I don't play with the government. The example I have in Agbaruto, I'm trying to see that I'm able to do for the people who come to the workshop what the government did for me while I was at school. That is that. Then to come to the question you asked, I think Shilon has answered that question. He said, if you want really to get things, go and sponsor somebody to become a minister or a senator, and then he will fight for you. That was the answer. And since then, we haven't really actually gone to canvas for anybody to go to the Senate or to the Parliament in order to fight our own cause for us. I think government everywhere we are a little slow. Yes, we have to do our job. We have to do our job properly by trying to question why the government has the national endowment, created the national endowment, is waiting to be ratified, or is being ratified. You are the president of an association. Do you have the answer for me? Now, we don't have a museum. We don't have a national gallery that is compatible with other Tate Gallery or MoMA or all these other things. And we were promised this gallery very many years ago, and it's not there. Now, we in Lagos had sometimes come to bring some cases to the Senate to press out issues as well. Now you are young and you know the know-how. How much have you mobilized our own artists and our own people to actually fight for some of those things which we know that's our due, that we ought to have. In those days, the government sent us out to attend World Art Council. They gave money for this, for that. They send exhibitions, our exhibitions, to travel around the world and so on and so on. Those things are not happening, and you are aware that those things can be done by the government. What has the artist done to prompt the government to do this things for us? What effort have we made? We are, I think the artist at this point is not fighting hard enough. The artist is not fighting hard enough, and I think we should wake up and ask for what is our right, and we will get it.
Honorable Minister Prosper, from a political party, the Artist Pressure Party of Nigeria.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to remember the greeting. Nigwa, sir.
Yeah, no.
Thank you very much. My name is Victoria. I'm truly delighted that we're having this conversation. As I was just saying, I didn't know I was sitting beside an artist, and I was saying that I'm very happy that we're having this conversation at this time, because last year we're not having this conversation. That means that art is coming back to the front burner as a store of value that can help boost our economy. It's probably the same thing with the tourist potential that we have in the country today that we're not really appreciating. So, I mean, there have been comments around art appreciation for us to understand from when we're young that art is something important and that it can be a store of value. You talked about the fact that most of our traditional art was desecrated because it was labeled as fetish and all of that. So we're having to start again. And I think that, I'm really happy that Africa Art Forum and the NES, we're having this conversation, bringing art to the front burner. So I know you've spoken to the artist and he's going to be the chairman of the artist party. So I think we need to have this conversation more. I think we need to push more. I think we need to build the appreciation for when we're young, because those in government are people from amongst us. And if there is no understanding, then we have to build that synergy and build that understanding. As any other value chain, those who are within the value chain have to build the value and help the others understand so that we can sell value. I think that art is a critical resource. And incidentally, we were at an event in Abeokuta recently, and you did mention Yemisi Shilon, and he was talking about the same thing, and talking about the capacity that we have in Nigeria alone for the arts to really build our economy and contribute trillions to the economy. So truly delighted that we're having this conversation. And then the next thing that we need to do is, how do we expand it? Sir, I'm not sure that you need to travel everywhere, but, just lending your voice to this wherever you are, I think that's going to help to drive forward what we need to do as a country. We have this value. We have to determine what the value is, and we have to market it and publicize it until we get that value. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to okay, Doc, Prof, sorry, please, you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Prof. And congratulations again for what you have been doing to promote art in Nigeria. I just have two very short questions. There is no part of Nigeria today where you don't have budding young talents, artists that are up and coming, who are highly talented. You, sir, you are one of the masters. What can you and your iconic group of masters do to promote these young artists and help to give them exposure? That is my first question. The second issue is there is no museum in the world where you do not have Nigerian works of art. I'd like to ask a layman's question. are these works of art better off staying in foreign museums, or are they better off seeking ways to bring them back home? Thank you very much.
Thank you. As before, I want to answer the second question first. Now, we have to investigate the circumstances of the work, of our work that's abroad. If a person paid for an artwork and took it away and put it in his museum, we should be very happy about it, because his fellow countrymen will see that work and come to Nigeria to buy another work from the artist. So that's a very happy thing. Are you trying to say that those works abroad are acquired illegitimately? Were they studied? What condition brought those artworks abroad? I would like to know that. I mean, if they were sold here, if they were bought from exhibition and so on, and they found their way there nicely, then they have rights to keep those works and display them whichever way they want. You're not suggesting that the work was studied, or the work was seized, or the work was copied, or whatever. So, what is it? So, you will answer that later. Now, the question of the children not being at school, you're talking about school children not doing that. Is that what you're talking about? Young talents.
Across the country.
Yes. Well, before I left Lagos, I called the chairman of the Lagos State branch of SNA, Society of Nigerian Artists, and said, what should I tell them about Abuja? He said, well, tell them that after is it SS3, that there's no art anymore for the schools. And so it becomes very difficult to get people to attend higher institutions. In other words, art is not taught the way from beginning to school start and so on. So that's a problem. That's a problem. So we have to deal with that. The schools, both elementary schools and secondary schools, should take art. Should have art teachers to prepare people and find out the talented ones that would go to the universities and then and become become art students and study art. I think we should do that. On my own side, at Agbaroto, people who are dropped out, I look at people who couldn't go to secondary school or drop out from elementary or secondary school. We take them into our workshops and give them something to do. They learn to create art, and that art they create gives them food to eat. We're doing that. And more, I think I should advocate that more and more people should begin to do that. The Asele Institute in Nimo should do that. The Nikkei galleries in Lagos, Shobo, and in Kogi State should do that. Everyone should do that. Find one way or the other. You should even own a foundation and then train people in the school, give them workshop and summer holidays and so on. Let us see, this is now be the job of everyone. Create any excuse now to be able to train young people. Those who have workshops should also use the workshop to train people. And then also, don't let us close our mouth. If you don't talk, then you can't get anything. If that is an issue, we should discuss it in the paper, newspaper, talk about it in various groups and so on, and then carry this, our decision, carry them to the powers that be, and we will receive answer. There was a time when actually art and history and so were removed from the curriculum. And there was a shout, there was a cry, and so on. And then I think some form of people was returned again to school. So let us not keep quiet. Let's talk about it. And elementary school people will receive art. Individuals should take notice, particularly workshop, and even parents can organize it. So that is that. Now, what's the first question?
You've answered that.
First answer that.
He has a responsive answer, but we'll come to that later.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody. We're actually coming to the end of this conversation. And just a recap from what my sister said earlier. There's an exhibition downstairs, which is actually part of this whole project that we're doing. So immediately after we leave here, for those that want to take pictures with Prof, please, I beg you, we do that downstairs at the gallery, because we have another session coming on here and they need to rearrange the room. And the last question that I will ask Prof is in the context of the exhibition that we will see downstairs, which was a competition for the emerging artist under 35 years. What is your general advice to younger artists, and what is your vision for the Nigerian art?
Thank you. My vision for Nigerian art is exactly what you're doing. The schools should exist. They are doing their own thing. They should train and so on. But private driven participation, that's what you are doing now. That is very, very essential. Very, very essential. Now, what I tell people is that you imagine that people are talented, and so because they're talented, they are going to climb to the top of the mountain. Bamboo. It will not happen. It will not happen at all. You have to continue to train, to mentor. I tell you what happens. Now, let me use the sport for instance. The moment the Olympic Games finishes, the participant who wants to go in for the Olympic Games again has 2 weeks to rest. The remaining part of 4 years, the man is training. Art is like that if you want to succeed. You don't say you are here, you know this, you know that. Art is like actually going upstream. You want to go upstream. And at the moment you reach a stage and you accomplish it and you have this, the time will take you down past your father's house. So that is it. No, so that is it. It's a continuous state. You must continue to develop. So what you have done is very good, and many more people should do that.
Thank you, sir.
Shoni Barry is doing that for he's London based. He's doing that in Lagos, Lekki. He's doing that where the Djibouti, and other people, the Djiboutians are doing that and so on. Other people are doing. So what you're doing is very, very good. Just begin to take them. Don't give the artists free space. Every year you put them together, let them go through one kind of thing or the other, and begin to brush them with some small incentive to make them carry on. Give them materials to create. Give them space to create. And you, if you have money, give them money to travel out to see exhibitions. Yeah. Give them money to show their own exhibitions themselves. And then, for those of them who have reached a particular stage, give money to publish some materials on them. We were talking about music the other day. The music people they're very lucky because the music they create can easily be waxed or even put and sent out very, very quickly. So is art. The art you create can be put in books, and this book can travel and can make the person very, very, very famous and so on. So you do all that for the people that you now discover. Once you discover them, don't leave them. If you cannot sponsor them, beg other people to sponsor them and let them grow. And remember that out of every 100 people that go to your hand, maybe just 1%, 2%, 5% will reach that top. They will become the one. They will become the Picasso, and they will become the So that is it. So don't be discouraged at all if people drop out. But you must have your eyes open for those people who are prepared to learn, to climb up and so on. They're right there. They're there. So
thank you so much, Professor Bruce Olabrokbaya. 2006, maybe I didn't mention that, UNESCO Living Human Treasure. That actually brings us to the end of this conversation. I will hand over please sit. I will hand over the mic to the moderator.
Thank you very much. One more time, can we please celebrate our living legend? Please give him a resounding applause. You know, I like how you ended the conversation, Ifesinachi, because you talked about the younger generation, the emerging artists, and it just tells me how Professor here worked so that these emerging artists could fly. So one more time, let's celebrate him for that. Thank you very much. We cannot thank you enough, and today we are just going to give you your flowers because you deserve actually the whole garden, not just the flowers. You've done exceptionally well representing not just Benin or Delta Migosa, but you have represented Nigeria, Africa, globally. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and we honor you today as you continue to inspire thousands and I dare say millions of people across the world. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. When we started the conversation, I had introduced some persons, but they're here now. So I'd again recognize them. The Special Advisor to Mr. President on Art, Culture and Creative Economy, Ayomide Adeagbo. Thank you very much for joining us here. I'd also be recognizing and making welcome on stage for the closing remarks the Director General for Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, Aisha Adamu Ogie. You never expected it?
Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I was not expecting this. I'm blaming Ifesinachi for that, I'm sure. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Aisha Ogie, the Director General of the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBACSA. Sir mentioned Festac, and we know that you've been alive long and well, and we have to thank God for your life and the impact that you've made to so many of us. As an artist myself, I have looked up to you. I went to ABU Zaria too. So this is actually a great honor. I'm trying not to cry. So I would like to say thank you so much to everybody. As you can see with NESG, you can see we have a Minister Progress, you said? Or is this Senator Progress? Who mentioned that that the government is not taking this seriously. But as you can see, this was supported by the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning. And the whole idea behind NESG, which is something that I've also been involved with over the years, is to be able to take the solutions gotten from these conversations and used as solutions that the government can also work with. So it will be very important for you to make your submissions. We are artists. Many of us don't really think about the economy. We just want to create, right? And social change comes with a lot of artistic work and activism. And that is a voice that we now also need to figure out how to move from the art side to the economic side. So I understand your frustration. I have lived it. I'm a working artist myself. But for those of us who have scaled, you can see how important it is. This is the first time. So I think we should be fair to this administration. This is the first time we have a Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy. The first time we have actual artists and people who have been within the sector heading the agencies. So I think we are here, and we need more of us to come over. We need lobbyists at the National Assembly. We need people who will ensure that stronger voices. We already have Uncle Bruce, who has been a solid voice for us across the world. And I think the more of us that are in the room, and anybody who gets to watch this, it's not us against them. We are the government. I was a citizen, and I'm here now. So for those of us who can do that, let's do it. For those who can be activists, whether it's on social media or in the news or writing opinion articles, play your part. I think if we all work together, the artistic community, the creative and cultural economy will bloom. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much to everybody for coming through. Thank you for the honor. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much, everybody. And let's have a great view of the exhibition downstairs. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think the first part in playing our part is to make sure we go downstairs to the exhibition area and make some purchases. We'll take a group photo very quickly. Can we have, yes, with Professor, with Ife Sinachi, Aisha, can we have all our representatives and executives? Mr. Diagbo, please. I'm not going to murder your son, Mr. Ahmed, please come. Chalia, please come. Yeah, please can we have, yes. Yeah. Auntie Chalia. So we recognize that some persons might want to take pictures with Professor. Please would meet at the exhibition area just so that we can also experience what the exhibition is about. And of course, and definitely most importantly, make purchases. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Thank you for lending your presence, your voices, and your support to this cause.